Hey everyone, what's up? This is Zach, and I am here with an album review for you guys. And so we are continuing with the Asia discography, the Asia series of reviews, and this is their 2010 release, Omega. Now, this one I think is just okay. I mean, this is really the first Asia album in their catalog that I would just say is okay. I think all the ones before this are really good albums. I mean, yeah, Astra had a few tracks that I think are kind of meh, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good album. But this, I mean, they could have done better than this. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Now, it's not a straight up bad album, and this isn't really a rant or anything. It's not an album that particularly made me mad or anything, but I do think that Asia could have done better than this, and this is definitely a step down from the previous album, Phoenix, which I thought was a very good album, but this, definitely a step down. And with saying that, this album is actually not all bad. Again, I think it's just an okay album, but just going over the tracks here, we've got Finger on the Trigger, which is a decent song. I don't mind that one. Got some pretty good guitar work from Steve Howe. And then we've got Through My Veins, which is another decent song from this album. I don't mind that one. Holy War, which is definitely one of the highlights on this album. I'd say one of my personal favorites on this album. Not a song that I think to return to a whole lot, but it is a pretty good track. And then we've got Ever Yours, Listen Children, End of the World, Light the Way, Emily. These songs, I mean, they're kind of just take it or leave it. Nothing terrible, but nothing about them really stands out. And then we've got I'm Still the Same. And then we've got There Was a Time, which is actually one of my favorites on this album. It is one of the highlights for me personally. I think John Wetton sounds very good vocally on this song. His vocal delivery is actually really good. And I think instrumentally, it's solid as well. I do like that song. Definitely one of the highlights on the album for me personally. And then we've got I Believe, which is another highlight from this album, in my opinion. Actually, a pretty good track and one of the highlights on this album. And then we've got I Don't Want to Lose You Now. It's an okay album closer. Again, not a song that I think to return to very much, but it's all right, I guess. But yeah, Omega, overall, it's just an okay album. There's just not really a lot of songs on this album that stand out. And I find a few songs on this album to be rather forgettable. Not terrible or straight up bad, just forgettable. And definitely not some of Asia's best material. And again, with the Asia fans that want to gripe and moan about the John Payne era, and they complain about how forgettable those songs are on the John Payne albums, it's like, have you even listened to this one? Because I think that there's a chunk of this album that's forgettable, in my opinion. I mean, there's some songs on here that definitely lack the replay value. I mean, I'd rather listen to all of the John Payne Asia albums over this one any day of the week. So, Omega, in my opinion, it's just an okay album. Just okay, in my opinion. And this was at a point in Asia's career where it was looking rather uncertain because the songwriting wasn't as strong. And again, comparing this to the last album, Phoenix, the songwriting on that album was definitely better than it was on here. But there's still some decent, pretty good tracks on this album. I think Holy War, There Was a Time, and I Believe are pretty good songs on this album. So Omega by Asia, it's overall just an okay album. So if I were to give this album a rating or a score, I'm kind of going back and forth between a 5.5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. So that's kind of what I'm feeling. So let me know what you think of Asia's album Omega, their 2010 release. So with that said, thank you for watching, take care, and have a good one.